Welcome to Learning with UNP. In this session of Business Intelligence with Power BI, we will explore filter functions part 2. Today, we will start with introduction to filter functions and we will focus on three important functions: filter function, all function, and remove filters function. We will use the Maven market dataset for our demonstration. This dataset includes various tables like transactions, products, and customers. So let's get started with an introduction to filter functions and understand how they help us analyze our data in Power BI. Let me first explain what are filter functions. Filter functions in Power BI help us change the way we look at our data. Sometimes we want to focus on specific parts of our data, like sales from a particular brand, or remove all filters to see the total picture. These functions let us do this. It's just like zoom in or zoom out on the data as needed. Let me begin with the filter function. The filter function allows us to focus on specific rows in a table based on a condition we provide. Imagine you have a list of all the products you sell, but you only want to look at the products from one specific brand. That is where filter function helps us. Let's say, for our example, we want to calculate the total quantity sold but exclude the products from the brand Washington. Here is how we do it. Click on Transactions Data, click on New Measure. Let's name the measure as total quantity sold except brand Washington. Equals to, now let's type calculate, CAL. Here is the function, hit tab. The calculate function tells Power BI to do a calculation but with some filters applied. Now let's type total quantity sold. So type total. Here we already have the measure, hit tab. Total quantity sold is the measure that we have already created that adds up all the quantities sold, comma. Now let's type filter. Here is the filter function, tab. So now we say filter function to look at the Maven Market Products table and only keep the rows where product brand is not Washington. So let's type products. Here is the table name, hit tab, comma. Now let's again type products. And let's type for product brand column. Here is the column, hit tab. We want to look at all the product brands except Washington. So type the symbol and type Washington in quotation marks. Close the brackets. Tab. This formula helps us calculate the total quantity sold while ignoring products from the brand Washington. It's like saying, show me the total but don't include anything from Washington. Now, let's visualize the value of total quantity sold except brand Washington using a number card. So click on number card from visualizations pane, drag this measure onto the number card. If you can see here, the total quantity sold except brand Washington is 822K. Next, we have the remove filters function. This is used when we want to remove any filters applied to a column or table. Think of it as clearing any selections we have made so we can see all the data. For our example, let's calculate the total quantity sold without any filters on the product brand. Here is how we do it. Click on Transactions table, click on New Measure. Let's name this measure as total quantity sold remove customer filter. Equals to, let's type calculate. Here is the function, hit tab. So we use calculate here to modify the calculation. And total quantity sold is our measure. So let's type total quantity sold. Here is the measure, hit tab, comma. We use remove filters function. So type remove filters. Here is the function, hit tab. Remove filters function over here removes any filters that might be on the product brand column, ensuring we calculate the total quantity sold for all the brands. So let's type product brand. Here is the column, hit tab, close the brackets. We just now created a measure calculating total quantity sold except brand Washington, which means a filter is already applied on the product brand column. Now, this remove filter function removes the filter that is already been applied and gives us the value. Hit enter. Now, let's again use number card to visualize the value. Click on number card, drag this measure onto the number card. If you can see here, total quantity sold, remove customer filter, the value is being shown as 833K. which means there is no filter applied on product brand column now. Remove filters function is helpful when we want to ignore any previous filters and see the full data. Finally, the all function helps us when we want to ignore all filters on a table or column and look at everything. It's like telling Power BI, forget any filters and show me the whole dataset. Finally, the all function helps us when we want to ignore all filters on a table or column and look at everything. It's like telling Power BI, forget any filters and show me the whole dataset. Let's say, for our example, we want to calculate the total quantity sold across all transactions ignoring any filters. Here is how we do it. Click on transaction data, click on new measure. Let's name this measure as total quantity sold all transactions. Equals to, again use calculate function here to do our calculation. So type calculate. Here is the function, hit tab. Now let's type total quantity sold. Here is the measure, hit tab, comma. Now let's type all. Here is the function, hit tab, and we'll type transactions data. Here is the table name, hit tab, close the bracket. This part of the formula tells Power BI to include all the transactions even if any filters are applied elsewhere. Hit enter. Let's again use a number card to visualize it. Drag the measure onto the number card. So the value of total quantity sold across all transactions is 833K. By using all function, we ensure that our calculation gives us the complete total no matter what filters are in place. The value is equal to total quantity sold remove customer filter because we have used remove filters function to remove all the filters that have been applied. Hence, both the values are equal. Finally, each of these functions, that is filter function, remove filters function and all function, changes how Power BI looks at our data, whether we want to zoom in on certain rows or remove filters or look at everything. By applying these functions, you can gain more control over your data analysis and get specific insights you need. This is all about today's lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.